You've probably seen it by now. The big ears, the wild smile, the chaotic gremlin-like energy that somehow feels cute. It's called Labubu, and it's not just a toy. What started as a niche designer figure from Asia has slowly turned into a full-blown obsession with sold-out drops, resale prices in the hundreds of dollars, and people camping outside of stores overnight for a weird little plastic monster. So what is Labubu? Why are people addicted to it? And why did it explode in America practically overnight? First, let's get one thing straight. Labubu isn't just any cute toy. It has shark-like teeth, elf ears, and an expression that is both adorable and slightly unsettling. It was originally created by Hong Kong artist Kasing Lung as part of the Monster series, characters from a children's book that were brought to life by Chinese toy giant Pop Mart. But here's where it gets interesting. Pop Mart didn't just make regular toys. They created what was called blind boxes, or basically what we all know as mystery boxes. You buy the box not knowing what character you'll get. It's literally gambling, but make it cute. Think like Pokemon cards, but for adults with disposable income and extreme fear of missing out. The original Labubu design has been around since 2019, which nobody back then had one or even knew about it. It was sitting quietly in toy stores, selling small numbers, but nothing spectacular. For years, it was just another collectible in Pop Mart's catalog. Then 2024 happened and everything changed. Pop Mart's revenue jumped up to $1.8 billion. That's 7 times higher than pre-Labubu explosion. Now here's where the story gets wild. In April of 2024, Lisa from Blackpink was pictured with a Labubu keychain hanging from her purse. Just one photo. That was all it took. But this wasn't just a photo. This was Lisa, one of the most influential style icons in the world, casually carrying something that nobody has really ever seen before. Suddenly, everyone wanted what Lisa had, but this wasn't just about copying a celebrity style. This was about accessing something that felt exclusive. Something that said, I'm in the know. And the fact that you couldn't just walk into any store and buy one just made it that much more desirable. What started in Asia exploded globally. By the end of 2024, the Labubu mania had taken hold of North America and Europe. We're talking about a little plastic toy that marketing experts are calling one of the biggest consumer trends in the world. The singer Lisa from Blackpink had no idea what she unleashed. One casual accessory triggered a global phenomenon worth hundreds of millions of dollars. It's the kind of butterfly effect that marketing experts dream about but can never actually plan. The ripple effects were immediate and intense. Within weeks, Labubu hashtags were trending globally. Fashion influencers who had never heard of Pop Mart before were suddenly making unboxing videos of them, and high-end boutiques started stocking them next to designer handbags. But why? Why are grown adults lining up for hours just to buy a plush toy? Why are people treating a $30 toy like it's made of gold? Let me break down the psychological genius behind this phenomenon, because what Pop Mart accidentally created was a masterclass in human behavior. First, there's the scarcity factor. When something is limited and hard to get, our brains automatically assign it as something of higher value, which Pop Mart mastered this by creating ultra limited drops and blind box systems. You're not just buying a toy, you're participating in a treasure hunt where the prize is social validation. When you buy a blind box, you're triggering the same neural pathways as gambling. Your brain releases dopamine, not when you even get the toy, but in anticipation of potentially getting a rare one. In a world that feels increasingly chaotic, inflation, political turmoil, and climate anxiety, these soft, harmless looking toys offer emotional comfort. They're like grown-up teddy bears, but with enough edge to not feel childish. There's actual research showing tactile comfort objects can reduce stress in adults, which Labubu perfectly fills that psychological need. Hanging a Labubu from your designer bag wasn't just decoration, it was a signal. It said, I have access to exclusive drops, I understand current trends, and I'm a part of this community. In an increasingly digital world, these physical objects became markers for real-world cultural capital. There's also the community aspect. Labubu collecting is not just a solo activity. People share unboxing videos, trade rare variants, gather at pop-up shops, and bond over their shared obsession. In a post-pandemic world where many people feel isolated, These little creatures created instant communities. The luxury paradox. Here's what's absolutely fascinating. Labubu has bridged the gap between affordable collectibles and luxury fashion. People are attaching $30 toys to $50,000 Birkin bags, and instead of looking ridiculous, it's become the ultimate status symbol. Fashion designers are calling it the luxury paradox. This is called the luxury paradox, the idea that something inexpensive can enhance the value and a Labubu keychain. Dog, I'm sorry I say Labubu like that. I don't know how else to say it, Labubu. That's how it is, right? Labubu. A Labubu keychain on a luxury bag says more about your cultural awareness than the bag itself. Some people in Thailand started turning Labubu images into Buddhist amulets, believing that somehow they could bring wealth and good fortune. We're talking about a toy that transcended commerce and entered the realm of cultural phenomenon, and even somehow in religious significance in some circles. What's particularly interesting is how this affected the secondary market. Rare variants were selling for hundreds, sometimes even thousands of dollars on resale platforms. Just a $30 blind box could potentially contain something worth more than most people's monthly rent. This created a legitimate investment market around something that was originally just a cute little toy. From a business perspective, Pop Mart cracked the code that some businesses spend millions of dollars trying to figure out. They created artificial scarcity, leveraged social media, and tapped into both nostalgia and novelty simultaneously. It triggers the same reward pathways as slot machines, but instead of money, you're potentially winning social status and personal satisfaction. The average Labubu collector buys multiple boxes, chasing that dopamine hit of potentially getting something rare. And let's talk numbers. The Monster series alone pulled in $419 million in 2024 with 726% year-over-year growth. That is not just success, that is a cultural earthquake. Pop Mart went from a niche Asian toy company to a global phenomenon literally overnight. Now let's get into the dark side. This wasn't all cute and harmless. The scarcity model created genuinely problematic behaviors. People were fighting each other in lines, reselling for insane prices, and in some cases, literally rioting at stores when they went out of stock. Man, I wish I had one for this video, but all over just a little tiny monster plush toy. Crazy. And some collectors reported even feeling anxious when they couldn't get the latest drops, or had shame about spending so much money on these toys. The community aspect that I talked about earlier that made Labubu so appealing could also become toxic, with collectors judging each other's authenticity or access to rare pieces. So is the Labubu obsession just a fad that will fade out by next year? I don't know, maybe? Because if you think about it, Stanley Cups, they were going crazy for those too, but now you can find them on sale basically anywhere. Whether you think it's brilliant marketing or mass hysteria, you cannot deny its impact. Labubu proved that in 2024, the most powerful status symbol was not a watch, or a bag, or a car. It was a $30 plush toy. The real question isn't why people became obsessed with Labubu. Whatever the answer is to Labubu, one thing is certain, it changed the game, and the next viral collectible phenomenon could be being unboxed by some influencer right now. Let me know for sure if any of you guys own a Labubu. Do any of your siblings, your family members, do you own whole collections of them like hung up on a wall somewhere? I don't know. I kind of wish I had one for this video, but I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace out, guys.